All right, we're going to try this again. This is going to be my Week 7 NFL Power Rankings. I tried to record these on Wednesday, did not work. My microphone and stuff was just not working together, so I do not have a face cam right now, and I'm outside in my car, so it might be a little bit windy, but I'm trying to make the best of this. Let's get started. So starting off with our key injuries here, I'm not going to read them all. You guys can talk about it yourself, or pause the video and look at it yourself. I'm going to talk about a couple of things. The Broncos lost Josh Reynolds to the IR, and Pat Surtain's out this week. Browns did get Nick Chubb back this week, so that's good. Giants lost Andrew Thomas for this season. The Titans lost Jamal Adams to IR, and then they eventually just released him. And the Commanders, Jonathan Allen, injured for the season. Okay, top performances. I'm not going to talk about these two. I just want to mention Sean Tucker for the Buccaneers had 190 yards and 2 total touchdowns this week. Absolutely amazing for him. As a 32, Cleveland Browns are 1-5. A bad game this week. I mean, not a very bad game. Lost by 4. A 20-16 loss versus the Eagles isn't bad. They traded away Amari Cooper. Their offense has yet scored 20 points in a single game this year. They are not a good football team. For 3-1, it's going to be the New England Patriots. They lost 21-41 versus the Houston Texans. Not a good week for them. But Drake May did look good. He had 3 touchdowns, which is more than Jacoby Brissett has had. He also threw for nearly 240 yards, which is more than a Patriots quarterback, and I believe almost 2 years since Mac Jones did it in 2022. Next up is number 30, the Carolina Panthers. They're dropping 2 spots here after a 38-20 loss versus the Atlanta Falcons. Their defense has been the worst defense in the league by far. Their offense has been respectable with Andy Dalton. Number 29, Tennessee Titans are going to move up 1 spot. They lost to the Colts 20-17 this week. Not too bad. They made it very competitive. They signed running back Joshua Kelly to kind of help out with their running back depth, but then they also cut safety Jamal Adams, who is a key part to their defense. At least on paper, he should have been a key part to their defense. Number 28 is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've been down 1 spot. Got destroyed by the Bears 35-16 here in London. Not a good week for them. Number 27, Miami Dolphins. They had a bye week, but they're going to move up 2 spots from their bye week because a lot of the teams that were, right above them did end up losing this week, so I moved them up a couple of spots. Number 26, Las Vegas Raiders. They lost here 32-13 versus the Steelers. They also traded away Davante Adams. Not a great week here. They did start Aiden O'Connell this week, and he's, presumably their quarterback going forward. He did not do much better than a Gardner Minshew would have, but I do think it's smart to try to get him. It's only his 2nd year in the league, so it does make sense to kind of give him that shot to kind of prove himself here to be a potential quarterback of the future for the Raiders. Number 25, New York Giants. They're going to drop 1 spot. They lost 17-7 versus the Bengals. Horrendous offense, only putting up 7 points all game, but their defense was pretty solid. But they also lost Andrew Thomas to the to injury for the rest of the season. That's obviously going to hurt them quite a bit. Number 24, the New Orleans Saints. They're going to drop 2 spots here after losing to the Bucks 51-27. Sorry, they scored 27 points in the 2nd quarter alone, but they scored 0 points in the next 3 quarters combined, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And they also allowed 51 points, a horrendous effort from their defense. Also have a bunch of injury issues in their wide receiver group for these upcoming couple of weeks. Number 23, Los Angeles Rams. They had a bye week this week, but I will jump them up 2 spots as well, kind of like Miami. Just a couple teams that are right above them ended up losing, so I feel like they do, kind of get the benefit of moving up a couple of weeks, even without playing a game. Number 22, the Denver Broncos. They're going to drop 1 spot. They lost 23-16 versus the Chargers. Not a bad loss, but they were down 23-0, and then ended up scoring, I believe, 16 straight points there in the 4th quarter to kind of make it a close game at the end. But really, they had no chance throughout this entire game. Number 21, Indianapolis Colts. They're going to jump up 2 spots here. They won 20-17 versus the Titans. Anthony Richardson did not play. It was Joe Flacco time this week, and he played pretty good. Anthony Richardson has a chance to play this upcoming week, but even if he does not, Joe Flacco's pretty good, and I do expect Joe Flacco to get the job done. At least kind of in the same way Anthony Richardson would anyways. Number 20, Arizona Cardinals. They dropped 3 spots after getting destroyed this week what was this score? 34-13 versus the Packers. Yeah, very bad week here, getting obliterated by the Packers. Not looking good right now for Arizona. Number 19, the New York Jets. They're going to actually move up one spot after losing to the Bills 23-20. First game without Nathaniel Hackett calling plays and without Robert Saleh as head coach. And their offense did look much improved this week. Also getting trading for Davante Adams should even improve their offense even more, which gives me some hope, a little bit of hope at least, for this New York Jets team going forward. Number 18 is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. They lost to the Niners 36-24, so they do drop quite a bit of spots here. They started out the season 3-0 and have since lost 3 straight games. They really need to get back on track here in Week 7 if they want a chance of making a good playoff push. Their division right now is not looking very good, so they do still have a really good chance there with them and the Niners, I believe, both being 3-3 at the top of that division right now. Number 17, the Dallas Cowboys are going to drop 9 spots after dropping 47-9 versus the Detroit Lions. A horrendous performance for the Cowboys. Not a good game at all, obviously, offensively or defensively. They had 5 turnovers on offense, letting up 47 points. Horrendous game for the Cowboys. Number 16, Los Angeles Chargers. They move up 3 spots after their 23-16 win against the Broncos. And like I said earlier, they were up 23-0 going into the fourth quarter, and they let the Broncos make it a close game at the end. But overall, they basically had this game won, for the majority of this game. Number 15 is going to the Cincinnati Bengals, moving up 3 spots after a good 17-7 win versus the Giants. I believe they allowed 41 and 38 points over the last couple of weeks, respectively. So allowing only 7 points this week, very good sign for their defense. They're also only going against Daniel Jones and the Giants, but still is a very good performance from their defense, regardless of who they were playing. Number 14, Chicago Bears move up 2 spots. They've played the Jacksonville Jaguars in London this week and won 35-16. Caleb Williams threw 4 touchdown passes. Really good week here for the Chicago Bears. Number 13, it's Steelers move up 2 spots after destroying the Raiders 32-13. Dudes are going to probably start Russell Wilson this upcoming week. I'm not exactly sure why they would do that. Justin Fields has not necessarily looked like a great quarterback, but he's been pretty solid and definitely been good for them for the first 6 weeks. And I don't think Russell Wilson's going to really do any better for them. Number 12, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to drop 2 spots here after beating the Cleveland Browns 20-16. You should be beating the Cleveland Browns by more than 4 points. They just did not do that. It was not a great win for them. So that's why they do move down a couple of spots, but I still do think they are one of the better teams here in the NFL. Number 11, San Francisco 49ers moving up 2 spots. After a good 36-24 win versus the Seattle Seahawks. They now currently own the first place in their division at 3-3. This is what people coming into this season thought would be one of the better divisions in football, and it still could be. We're still early in the season, but having the Niners at the top of the division at 3-3, certainly not what I would have expected to be saying in Week 6 during, like before the season and stuff. Number 10, Tampa Bay Buccaneers moving up 2 spots after a 51-27 win versus the Saints. Like I said earlier, the Saints scored 27 points all in one quarter, and then 0 points in the last 3 quarters combined. So the Bucs had one bad defensive quarter. Other than that, great defensive quarter all around. Their offense was great throughout the entire game, so can't really fault them too much besides that one bad defensive quarter. Still a really, really good game here for the Buccaneers. Putting up 51 points is obviously a good week for anybody. Number 9, Green Bay Packers move up 2 spots here after destroying Arizona Cardinals 34-13. They also switched kickers. Their kicker had like 5 missed kicks in the first 6 weeks, so they cut him and they signed kicker Brandon McManus, who has a history of being a really, really good kicker. So that should help their special teams out a little bit. Number 8 is going to be the Atlanta Falcons. They are now number 1 here in the NFC South, I do believe, tied with the Buccaneers, I think. I think they're both 4-2. But yeah, the Falcons this week had a 38-20 win versus the Panthers. Really good week for them. Number 7, Washington Commanders. They lost 30-23 versus the Baltimore Ravens, but the Ravens are a really, really good team. So a 7-point loss versus a really good team. It didn't even make me want to drop the Commanders a single spot this week because I still think they're one of the best teams in the league right now. Number 6, Houston Texans. They're going to drop one spot. They are 5-1, and they won 41-21 versus the Patriots this week. They also traded away running back Cam Akers, and they lost defensive end Mario Edwards to a 4-game suspension. So that could hurt their team there a little bit, but overall, they're still one of the best teams in the league right now, of course, because they do have a 5-1 record to show for it. Number 5, Buffalo Bills are going to move up one spot here after a 23-20 win versus the New York Jets, and the main reason that they move up is because they did trade for Amari Cooper. That's the only reason they're going to jump ahead of the Texans right now, is because that addition of Amari Cooper, I feel like, is going to make this offense elite. This offense has been pretty good already. Josh Allen's probably the lead MVP candidate right now, and now giving him a top 10 to top 15 receiver in Amari Cooper should make this team that much more dynamic on the offensive side of the ball. Number 4, Detroit Lions. They're going to stay the same. They destroyed the Cowboys 47-9 to the point where they were, throwing out a bunch of different trick plays to their offensive linemen to try to score touchdowns. None of them actually worked, but it was a cool concept, and they were kind of just toying with the Cowboys towards the end of that game. But they did lose Aiden Hutchinson for a season-ending injury this week, so that's definitely going to hurt them in the long run. So even though they had a really, really, really good game this week, I cannot move them up because of that injury to Aiden Hutchinson, which will affect them for the rest of the year. Number 3 is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. They won 30-23 versus a really good Washington Commanders team. They certainly look like one of the best teams in the NFL and probably the best team that is not undefeated, which is what I have in here in my power rankings. The number 2 are the Minnesota Vikings, who are undefeated at 5-0. They had a bye this week. They traded for running back Cam Akers, who was with them, I believe, for part of last season. So that could help the running back issues a little bit. Aaron Jones has a little bit of an injury issue right now. He's supposed to play this week, but he is questionable. So if he doesn't play, they have Cam Akers to kind of help with the running back depth. But overall, yeah, the Vikings have been really, really good. I have no reason to move them down here after their bye week. At number 1, Kansas City Chiefs, kind of the same thing. They've been really good this year. I have no reason to move them down after their bye week, so I'm going to keep them here at number 1. Then we got my game picks of the week. Last week was really good for me. I went 12-2. Overall, I'm 58-34 on the season, which is pretty good. My lock of the weeks are 4-2, and my upset of the weeks are 3-3. So for this week at the Broncos Saints on Thursday night tonight, I'm going to pick the Broncos. The Saints, it's Spencer Rattler's second game ever. He has no wide receivers to throw the ball to. I'm picking the Broncos. Jags, Patriots. Patriots did look good with Drake May, but I am going to pick the Jags to get this win here in London. Vikings over Lions. I mean, the Vikings are undefeated. I have no reason to pick against them. Texans, Packers are my upset of the week. I think the Texans are better than the Packers. I don't think that's really a debate. The Packers are at home, so that's why they're favorited, but I still would pick the Texans here in this game, but it very well could be close. Bengals and Browns should be easy win for the Bengals. Bills, Titans should be an easy win for the Titans. Should be an easy wins for the Bills. Seahawks and Falcons. The Seahawks are an underdog here as well. I do think they're going to get back on track here after losing 3 straight games. Eagles and Giants should be an easy win for the Eagles. Colts and Dolphins. Dolphins still do not have Tua, so it should be a fairly easy win here for the Colts. Commanders and Panthers should be an easy win for the Commanders. Rams over Raiders is my lock of the week. The Raiders have not been good this year. They just traded away Davante Adams, so I do think they're not going to be very good this upcoming week as well. And the Rams are coming off of a bye week, so they should have all the momentum to come out and win this game. Chiefs over Niners. The Chiefs are also an underdog for this game, but again, they're undefeated. I have no reason to pick against them, so I'm not going to. Jets over Steelers. The Jets with Davante Adams this week, I think, is going to make them even better. And I thought they looked really good last week, too, on offense. They just made a blunder on the last possession of the game there with Mike Williams. Steelers also, if they're going to start Russell Wilson, I think that's a slight downgrade over Justin Fields right now. So I'm going to pick the Jets. Ravens over Bucks could be a very good high-scoring game. Ravens, I think, are the better team on both sides of the ball. So I'm going to pick the Ravens. And Chargers over Cardinals, that could be a fun shootout game as well. I am going to pick the Chargers there, though closely. And that's going to be it for the video. Thank you for watching, and make sure to check back next week for an updated power rankings list. And I hope that my audio works better next week so I can use my camera again.